This video is sponsored by Squarespace. This is the Wacom Cintiq Pro 27, and this is the XP Pen Artist 10, the cheapest drawing tablet with a screen versus the most expensive drawing tablet with a screen. What are you really losing when you spec down this much? Let's find out. Hello, my name is Brad. I review tech for creative professionals, and today I am contrasting these two drawing tablets that come in at these extreme ends of the spectrum in terms of price and in terms of features. And I'm not doing this because I think there's anybody out there who's looking at these two things and wondering, which one should I buy? My goal here is to look at the features available on the highest end drawing tablets out there, and then break those down one by one and explain why you may need them, why you may not need them, so you can make a decision when you are trying to pick out something that's maybe somewhere in between these two devices and figure out what features you really need and which features you can skip. Makes sense? Let's get started. The contrast between these two tablets couldn't be any greater, or could it? 10 inches versus 27 inches, that is a huge difference. So when we're talking about screens, one of the main things you're going to see on any of these tablets is the resolution. When we look at the smallest tablet we have here, this is full HD. Now the resolution of that is 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. The resolution on that really big Wacom screen is full 4K. That's 3840 pixels by 2160 pixels. Now obviously one of those has way more pixels than the other one, but I think the most important thing to look at when you're trying to figure out what resolution to go with is the size of your screen. At 10 inches, 1920 by 1080 actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty crisp because the screen is so much smaller. Even though you have fewer pixels, it looks pretty nice. Putting a 4K screen on something that small is going to be kind of wasted. Now, if you flip it the other way, you have the opposite problem. If you have a full HD screen on a really big tablet, a 27-inch tablet, when you're hovering right over it, which you do with a drawing tablet, you're going to see all of those pixels, and the screen just isn't going to look as crisp or nearly as nice. And that's why Wacom goes with the 4K on their larger sizes. Now, you can save money. Huion, XP Pen have 24-inch, 21-inch displays that you can buy that are full HD, and that's something that's going to save you several $100s. But on those larger sizes, you are running into that problem where it doesn't look nearly as good. You can see those pixels. Things look kind of granular. I was going to say pixelated, but I've been saying the word pixels way too much. I think on 10 inches, 12 inches, 13 inches, maybe on 16 inches. No, I'm going to actually draw the line there. On the smaller tablets, full HD is fine. I think once you hit 16 inches, you want something higher resolution, and some of the tablets that have been shipping lately come in at a 2.5K resolution. I think that is perfect for a 16-inch tablet. Anything above 20 inches, you're probably going to want to go with 4K. Another thing that this Wacom display has that the XP Pen does not have is a touch screen. Now, this is something you don't find on a whole ton of tablets out there. Wacom Cintiq Pro line has that. You can find Huion and XP Pen with touchscreens, however, that really does drive up the price of these devices. If you have a remote that lets you zoom in and out easily and undo things and use shortcuts that way, or if there's keys directly on the display that let you do that, you usually don't necessarily need a touchscreen, but it is nice to have, especially on a Windows computer. The other thing you're going to see on a lot of these displays is just the quality of the colors. On the higher end displays, more expensive displays, you're going to have a higher color range. So if you're a photographer or you're a stickler for color, that's something you probably want to pay attention to. I will say, even on the lower end of the range in recent years, the color has gotten better and better. So if you don't need like a super specific color, or you're just getting started in digital art, I wouldn't worry too much about the color spectrum. Now, in the past, on the cheaper devices, there was just a coating on these things and it gave it that nice matte finish. It felt good to draw on, but they wore out faster. Whereas Wacom, on their high-end stuff, they often use etched glass, which lasts a really, really long time, doesn't wear out quite as much. On the more recent models, I haven't worried about it too much because I find it holds up really well and it doesn't scratch nearly as badly as it used to. Other thing worth shouting out is something called a laminated display. Almost every drawing tablet I've tested in the last few years has a laminated display now. That basically physically bonds the screen to the glass above it, and that cuts down on parallax. So I wouldn't worry about that that too much while you're looking at drawing tablets nowadays. Now, in terms of physical size, there are some big differences here. For example, on that 10-inch, you're just going to run into a lot of problems just hitting those interface elements. When you get to the big size, you're not going to have that problem at all. You're going to easily be able to jump into Photoshop and change brush sizes without accidentally hitting everything except the slider. For me, the sweet spot is 16 inches. Once you get to that size, all the interface elements for me are very easy to hit. On those smaller devices, that is something that you have to get used to, be aware of. It's not a huge hindrance, but you are going to bump into it in some programs. Another thing with a really small tablet like this 10-inch tablet is if you draw with your arm, if you draw, with your shoulder and you're used to big strokes, obviously on a 10-inch screen, it's not going to work so well because you're drawing in such a small area. The bigger the tablet, the more you can really put your arm into it and draw largely. I'm used to drawing in small spaces. I have a bad habit of drawing with my wrist. That's something I'm always mentally reminding myself not to do. So it doesn't affect me that much, but it probably should. There's also portability to consider. If you want to just slide something into your bag and take it with you with the cords you need to attach to your laptop, of course, smaller is going to be better. This 27-incher ain't going anywhere. It is anchored to your desk. It is a job to get this anywhere. And this is an area where 10-inch, 11, 12, 13-inch tablets are really, really portable. Once you get up to 16 inches, you can go portable with some of those if they're light enough, but that's where they start to get a little bit bulky. This video is made possible by Squarespace, who is the sponsor of today's video. I've been using Squarespace as a portfolio for a while, but over the last few weeks, I've been moving more and more stuff over to that because of their new templating engine. Now I can create pages where I rank my favorite drawing tech, or I can create pages where I can list out more information about my online courses. Starting with a best-in-class website template, you can customize every design detail and reimagine it with their drag and drop technology for desktop or on mobile. You can upload, organize, access all of your content from one place using Squarespace's asset library. You're able to manage all your files from a central hub and use them across the entire Squarespace platform. And then there's Squarespace's analytics, where you can use those insights to grow your business, and you can learn where your site visits and sales are coming from, analyze which channels are most effective, improve your website, and build marketing strategies based on your top keywords or most popular products and content. Head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. When you're ready to get started, go to squarespace.com/BradColbo to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. The Cintiq Pro 27 comes with Wacom's latest pen, which is not pre-assembled. That's not a knock against it. This is actually a really cool pen. It comes with different sizes, and there's these little weights that you could add to the back. It's such a cool idea, and it allows you to take this kit and make your perfect drawing stylus. I really liked this. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. You do not need that, but it's cool that in their highest end tablet, they're including it. It has absolutely no effect on the lines you draw. It's just really a feel thing. The funny thing about some of the lower end drawing tablets like this XP Pen 10 is that even though we're losing a lot of the premium features, the pen itself is the same pen that XP Pen puts in their highest end, most expensive tablets. That means you're getting really good pressure. That means you're getting really good initial activation rate. That means the pen is going to respond well to you, and it's just kind of fun to draw with. Is it as good as Wacom's pen? No, it's not. One of the downsides of the XP Pen is that there is some wobble to the line. This is something you can get rid of with a stroke straightener. If you turn on smoothing in Photoshop or Clip Studio, you can get rid of that, but that's something that you natively do not have to do on a Wacom, and it's one of those things that shows Wacom's superior quality. Let's talk a little bit about some of the bells and whistles and extra features that come with these tablets. Now, surprisingly here, both of these have shortcut keys. The XP Pen has 6 of them along the front, and you can program these to be whatever you want. For example, I have one to be like the hand tool, so I can hold that down and move around my illustration. I have some others done to undo. I have brush sizes on there. And of course, the Wacom Cintiq Pro has buttons like this too. You don't see them right away. They're actually along the back. It has these molded grips that are almost like holding a video game controller with triggers on them. Those are your shortcut keys, so as you're drawing, your hand can rest comfortably along the back and just kind of hit those as you need them. It, again, is a nice premium feature that you don't absolutely need, but It's really nice to have if you're going to pay this much. Another thing both of these have in common is neither one comes with a stand. And this is something that you should definitely figure into the cost of the product that you're buying. Some tablets, like the Wacom Cintiq Pro 16, have feet along the back. XP Pen has put these in some of their medium-sized tablets as well, which allows you to set your tablet up at a nice drawing angle. You can pick up an inexpensive stand for like 20, 30 bucks on Amazon. I should point out those stands will not work for larger tablets. For those, you're going to need something a little bit more sturdier. This Wacom really needs something that has like a VESA mount along the back, so you are going to be definitely spending more there. XP Pen and Huion on their big 21, 24 inchers, they come with a fairly inexpensive stand that you can set up at different angles. That's something to kind of keep in mind. Usually they have a stand packed in, but when you are picking out a tablet, make sure you see that listed on the buy screen, or else you're going to have to pick something up on the side. Another thing to look at is the connection cords that these use. This XP Pen 10 has a 3-in-1 cord with a USB cable that needs plugged into your computer and an HDMI cable that needs plugged into your computer, and a third cable that you need to plug into the wall for power. Once you start getting higher end, you'll find that many of the tablets being built now can use a single USB Type-C cable if it can draw enough power. So for example, if I'm using my Mac, I've got a Thunderbolt port, I can use one USB Type-C cable to power everything. The screen, it can draw enough power, it's great, and it makes this thing way more portable. The Wacom Cintiq Pro 27 and any device that is this big is going to need its own power supply. But no matter what device you're looking at, make sure you check and see what connections do you have on your computer. Do you have an HDMI port or do you have a USB Type-C connector, and how would you like to connect this tablet to your computer? Because it's going to vary from tablet to tablet as of what cords it comes with. I really hope that helps you understand some of the features that you're going to find in every drawing tablet and some of the trade-offs you're going to be making as you go down in price. If you take away the touchscreen, you're also taking away several $100s. If you take away a high resolution 4K display and jump down to like 2.5K, you're taking off a few $100s. If you reduce the size of the screen itself, you're taking money off the cost of the display. But what I think is the really good news here is that you're really not taking quality away from the actual drawing experience itself. That's the most important thing with any drawing tablet, is what is it actually like to draw on? And the good news here is everything that's being made here today in 2023 is pretty good. That hasn't always been the case. But what do you think? What features are most important to you? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.